Alright, so I'm back here, another review for The Leftovers. This time talking about episode 4 called Good Day Melbourne. And as you expected, and as the title already says, we're actually in Australia in this episode. So let's talk about what happened and, of course, the people behind the episode. So, first of all, it was directed by Daniel Sackheim. He's a director who also worked on Game of Thrones, for example. And it's written by Tamara P. Carter and Haley Harris. And I must add that they've written the teleplay, but the story was also by Damon Lindelof. So basically, what happened? Well, Nora and Kevin make it to Australia. At the airport, there's a little bit of tension between the two, not overly, but a little bit. When they arrive in Melbourne, they check into the hotel, and they actually both go on their separate journeys. Nora gets a call from the mysterious people behind the reunion machine, so to speak, and she needs to take a bus and get off at a certain bus stop. When she's outside, she has a weird encounter with a woman who asks to take care of her baby because she never get a job. Because the lady has a job interview and she want to get the job, she takes the baby inside. Then the bus comes and Nora cannot miss that bus, so she brings gives the baby back to the woman and only barely makes it onto the bus. But she arrives at this abandoned warehouse type looking kind of building. Where she meets two doctors who are basically involved in the entire procedure. It's a little bit weird, but she's examined first and then by a nurse, basically, a male nurse, and after that she has to answer some questions, and she can ask some questions herself. And then when she gets asked the final question about, which was a tough one, I must add, she basically gives the wrong answer apparently, because then the doctors say the procedure is not for her and they basically leave abruptly. Nora is distressed. She chases the doctors and she says, was it the answer I gave that she really wants to do it? And she seems genuinely desperate. So you would wonder, would she actually go through with it, or is she just there to reveal that it's all a scam? If you see the way Nora acts, it sort of feels like she's being genuine. And in the meantime, Kevin, is still in the hotel, and then he puts on the TV and he sees a TV show called Good Day Melbourne, and it's been live recorded in the studio, and there's a crowd outside, and in the crowd he thinks he sees Evie. Of course, he goes out of his mind, and then he goes to the studio and sees the person he thinks is Evie, and he follows her. Then he confronts her in an alley, and she says she doesn't know what he's talking about, and she's not this Evie person he keeps mentioning. Then there's a bystander who sees what's going on, asks the girl if she needs help, and then he basically intervenes and headbutts Kevin. Later, after that, when he comes to, he calls Laurie, tells her what happened. He gives the name that the girl gave him, and as she researches him online, mentions the public library. But after Kevin sends Laurie a picture, she's like, okay, whatever you do, don't go to the public library, just go home, go back to Nora, and we'll see what we can do later. Kevin doesn't listen, of course, goes to the public library where he asks for the girl. Her colleague thinks he's acting weird and signals security. Security's about to try him out when the girl intervenes and takes him into a side room. In the room, she first says that she's actually Evie, but when he keeps pushing, like, okay, if you're Evie, why do you keep the weird accent, drop the accent? Then she admits that she was called by someone who said that she should tell him that because he is sick. And then Kevin is of course pissed, and he calls Laurie, and Laurie says, well, I said that because you're having a psychotic break, and the first thing you learn as a therapist or psychiatrist is do not tell the person in the middle of a psychotic break that he's in a psychotic break or having a psychotic break. And she asks him to look at the picture he sent her. He looks at the picture and he realizes that it's totally someone else. He looks at her and he finally sees someone else and he doesn't see Evie anymore. Then the girl leaves and Laurie tells Kevin again, just go to the hotel and wait for Nora. Back at the hotel, both Kevin and Nora are not in the best mood, of course, because they both had, independently of each other, a terrible day. That ends with them having a major fight, and Kevin just decides to pack his stuff and leave. Nora stays in the hotel where she's smoking and she sets off the fire alarm, and the hotel is being evacuated, but she just stays in the hotel room, being drenched by the water of the sprinkler system. Kevin sees his father outside. They've been looking for him after seeing him on TV as well, as he's in the crowd outside of the studio. So he hops in a car basically with Grace and his dad, and I assume that they're going to the house where they have been staying. So overall, a very good episode. Happy to finally be in Australia and to have that part of the story finally happening. Again, everything with Nora is great. I keep repeating myself, but Carrie Coon is a great actress. And one of the things I like about the episode is the entire encounter she has with the doctors, where actually one of them was speaking Dutch. I don't know what the other one was speaking, but it definitely was not Dutch. The lead doctor, so to speak, definitely was speaking Dutch. But the whole prep thing, putting her in a box, the weird question, and the acting of Nora was interesting, and also she seemed so distressed and so genuinely desperate when they turn her down. So I don't think she would be that desperate, when she only wants to reveal a scam, because we have seen her doing investigations before. She's very calm and level. So was she actually going to go through with it? Was she considering going through with it? I think that's interesting, and I hope that's something we will find out very soon. So strong part of the episode, and Kevin as well, always interesting. Justin Theroux, good actor as well. At first I thought it was a bit of a cop-out, especially when not Evie said that she actually is Evie, but thankfully the writers didn't go for that actually. One thing one question that I do have now is, we've known that obviously there are a few things wrong with Kevin, but even the weirdest stuff he has experienced have real repercussions in real life, so even when he kills himself just to get rid of Ghost Patty, when he comes to, he actually comes to, just as Michael's grandfather, I should say, John's dad, told him he would. And there's more examples of stuff that appears to be supernatural, appears to be maybe hallucinations or visions of Kevin, but they turn out to have some real effects in the real world. So and now I'm almost like, now that we've have confirmed that he has the capacity to have mental breakdowns, to see things that are not there, does it put everything that happened before into question? I don't think so, but that's one question that did come to mind. It was also good to see the actress that plays Evie again, even though I'm happy that it wasn't actually Evie. I don't think we'll probably be seeing her again. And I'm also wondering, of course, what's going to happen now that Grace is actually together with both Kevins, Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr., what's going to happen next. The fact that Kevin had such difficulty destroying the book as he initially wanted to do, the book of Kevin. Does he actually believe in all that stuff? Does he maybe start to believe that maybe, he is someone holy or something like that? Even though he finally did burn the book. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Kevin and Grace together. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. And of course, the 7-year anniversary still hasn't happened yet. The 7-year anniversary of the sudden departure. I'm pretty sure that next episode is going to be about that, but you never know for sure. We're at the halfway point now of this final season, because there will be 8 episodes in this final season. The first half was very good, I think, and I think it might end up being the best episode the best season of The Leftovers. So that's absolutely a good thing. The next episode is titled "It's a Mad World." Another great episode title. We've had a couple of great ones before, so I'm very excited to see that. That episode will air in the United States already tomorrow. We'll be seeing you again and talking about It's a Mad World next week. Enjoy the next episode and see you soon. Also, don't forget, by the way, to follow us on Twitter at Last Review Show. You can check out our blog where we have written reviews as well at lastreviewshow.com. And check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever. Follow us, subscribe, do everything, because you're not going to miss our other content when we talk about films and tons of other stuff. Thanks for watching and see you soon.